oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I'm stressing. Okay, I need to, hold on, I'm your towel.
Sorry, I know this isn't funny, but it is. It's hilarious.
I just spilled my coffee like the loser that I am.
Hello and welcome to Joe and Britt.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Britt.
And this is our YouTube channel.
Pause. So for today's video, we are going to be doing a summer reading list part 2. So earlier on in the summer, we gave you guys a reading list of books that we were going to read. And then we did read them, and we hope that you guys read along with us.
Yeah.
Because now we're going to review them.
We're going to review them. We're going to talk a little bit about the books that we read. We each had 3.
Yes.
So we'll talk a little bit about
a lot of books. By the way, just so you all are aware, this is a spoiler alert. We will be maybe revealing some details of the novel. So, I'll start.
Yes.
My first book was Swept Away by Robin Carr. It sounded like a really cool book. For those of you that aren't aware, the book is about a girl who, she kind of had a rough upbringing, and then she's in her, 20s. Her job is essentially being the girlfriends of really rich men so that she can get them to pay for everything for her, and she's really good at playing that role, so that was her career essentially. And then one of her boyfriends decided to do something super violent, and he basically killed someone. He killed his actual wife because she was his girlfriend on the side, and it started off really good. That was the first point. It was super excited, and then she started kind of living in this small town. But then the same stuff happened over and over again for 3 chapters, and I couldn't go past halfway through the book because I was just like,
oh, okay. You couldn't even finish it?
I couldn't finish it. I was like, I'm not doing this to myself. For me, I like a thrilling novel, a novel that moves fast and is really quick paced. And this book I thought was going to be super fast paced, but it really wasn't. I'm gonna have to give it 2 waves out of 5. By the way, when I say waves, I mean instead of 5 stars, I'm gonna say 5 waves.
So the first book that I'm going to talk about is called Whiskey, Words, and a Shovel Part 2. That was a poetry book, which is something that actually Britt got me into with Milk and Honey a long time ago. She's the one that introduced poetry books to me, and this one was fantastic. I really liked it. What I love about it is that it's so relatable. So you are reading very short snippets on each page. It's very fast moving. You can read it within a couple hours if you just kind of sit down and really, are feeling all the feelings, give it a read.
Feeling all the feelings.
I'm just going to share a couple of my favorite short poems with you. I liked this one. It was called Reality. It says, "You're unhappy, you've been feeling neglected, you've been taken for granted, and yet you still find ways and or create several excuses as to why you stay. In reality, you've been holding on to nothing." And I think that that was just extremely relevant maybe at the time of my life that I read it, and it really touched me. And then one more that I will share.
Disorganized.
Okay.
Disorganized.
I really liked this one. It's called Survival. It says, "You can't force something to be more than what it should. Sometimes the people we love can't comprehend what we feel, and there will be times where you'll have to walk away from the very person whom you'd do anything for. It's not giving up, it's simply survival, and I hope it's you who survives." Those are some of my favorites.
I love that.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. So,
that's really
see,
sad.
this is the reaction I had. So I give it 5 waves out of 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Love it.
1, 2, them waves. The next book that I read was The Girls by Emma Klein. Now, this book was also a really interesting concept. Talked about this one girl and her need to feel like she was a part of something, which I think was really great. This book really captured the insecurity of young girls at this age. And so she joins this cult, and then this cult starts doing really weird things. So the leader of this cult, he's a 40-year-old man, and he sleeps with all these 15-year-old girls. Super gross.
Yeah.
This man ends up tricking these girls into killing this guy who he doesn't like. It flashes to her in the future as well, to today, and she's now this huge icon. When anyone sees her, they're like, "Oh my god, you were in that cult, blah blah blah," and she obviously doesn't want to be affiliated with that because it was a part of her life where she was super vulnerable and insecure, and she made really poor choices. But it's a very interesting book to see how the human mind can be manipulated into things you don't even realize are bad at the time.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right?
That's really interesting.
Which I loved. And yeah, so because it was really well written, honestly, for me, books, novels that tell a story, they have to be they have to really teach you something super incredible.
Yeah.
So I'm giving it 4 waves. 3, 4 out of 5.
Okay, so the next book that I read, something that Britt has also read before, very popular. It's called Everything, Everything. Fantastic book. Story is so phenomenal and the plot line is so great. It makes sense why they made it into a major motion picture because it's a creative
It's
plot
kind of
line.
like, it reminds me of like it's similar to A Fault in Our Stars.
Yes. Oh my goodness, yes, that's a perfect way to put it. I did really enjoy the book. So, I mean, essentially this girl, she is allergic to everything. And she's been cooped up inside her house because her mom has told her, she's a doctor and she's also her doctor, that she is allergic to everything and she needs to stay inside. So she has stayed inside for 17 years, then somebody moves in, the neighbor from next door, who she kind of has a crush on, falls in love with a little bit, and they decide that they're gonna go away to Mexico. She says, I don't care, I am going outside. So she goes and all is well, and then a couple weeks in, I believe, she starts to get really sick. And so while she's really sick, and I kind of thought at this point, like, she's gonna die, like, this is gonna be a sad book and whatever, but there's a twist at the end, and she doesn't die. Sorry, spoiler.
Wait, don't say anything else.
No?
I don't want anyone else to know.
Okay, yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna say anything else. I'm giving this one a 5 waves out of 5 as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh my god. I didn't see that one coming. So, my third novel was Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. First of all, this author is incredible. I love his writing style. I also love how observant it was. So essentially it talks about successful people like Bill Clinton and the Beatles, and how their circumstances, considering how when they were born in the year and how our society like molds people who do eventually succeed, and how those successful people are given more opportunities than other people in the same level as them. And that's the one thing I wasn't expecting about this book, was that it was more observant on how successful people are successful and not so much about how you can apply this to yourself. It was more just like, our society is this way, so there's nothing you can do about it.
Interesting.
So I was kind of like, okay, but I still learned a lot and it was a different perspective, so I give it 5 out of 5.
Ooh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No burp this time. So my third book, I actually have not finished it yet. I'm still in the midst of it. I wasn't able to finish all of them. It's called How to Fall in Love with Anyone. So far, it's really insightful. I think it's a really charming book, and you can learn a lot from it. It's more of like a self-help type of book, I guess you could explain it as. What really makes love last. And I think it's specifically talking to this generation, these like millennials, and how we are growing up in such a different age than maybe when our grandparents did or when our parents did. And there's so many things that alter the way that we love people these days. There's so many things that alter the way that we meet people even. There's social media, there's the internet. Do we obsess over love stories that we see in the media, and do we try to recreate this love, and does it really exist? And so
that's so true.
It is, right? Like, it's really interesting.
I love that.
So what she does as the author is kind of deconstructs her own personal ways to love someone and her own love stories so far, which I've seen in the book. And it's really good. It's well written. Again, learning a lot. I'm going to continue reading it. So I'm going to give it a rating of like 3.5 right now, because I don't actually know how the book ends.
1, 2, 3.
Half.
So, those were our reviews. We hope you enjoyed them. If you didn't read any of these books, or maybe you didn't have time to read all of them, we also put links for the books that we read down below with our ratings beside them.
We are going to actually introduce 2 more books that we're going to read. I'm going to read one and Britt's going to read one, because we love to read.
My next book is Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. It's about creative living beyond fear. I think this is going to help us.
My book is Why Not Me by Mindy Kaling. She's hilarious, and I'm really excited to read this.
She's a boss lady.
Totally.
Anyways, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe. We post videos every Mondays and Fridays. Like, comment, and any other videos you'd like to see below, or your thoughts on the books you may have read with us today.
And if you did read them, make sure you post a photo, tag us on it, and Instagram, it's @JoeandBritt. Make sure you follow our account, and yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
And remember to be patient
and ride the wave.
Later, surfers.
See you later, surfers.